Hey, good morning. Welcome to Hobby Evolution episode 693. Happy Wednesday, trash and recycling day. Jenny, no, I was not late because now I run my garbage down to the curb on Tuesday nights. So the garbage and recycling was on the curb this morning. So we have an hour to ourselves without worrying about the garbage trucks in the neighborhood. Ed is with us. Good morning, Ed. George, what is up? Good morning, hobby industry. What's up, Herman? Jonathan, good morning. Welcome to the chat. Zach and Porter are in here. Jenny, what's up? Max, good morning. I think he's actually late because Frank's robot got out and started cutting Bo's backyard. What's up, Terry? Yesterday was the last mow. I hope it's October 5th. It's gonna get cold. I think today's Wednesday. I think it's gonna be warm today, warm by October standards, and then tomorrow it's going to be cold. I think Friday we've got highs in the 40s. That's cold. No matter which way you slice it, 40 degrees is cold. Collects, what is up? Good morning. It's 45 right now, but we're heading toward a high of 72. It's going to be 64 tomorrow. We can handle that. We've got a warmer high for Friday, 51, so not bad. So, Victor, what's up? Great morning to everyone. It's gonna get cold by Saturday, I know. Basketball starting to pick up for Jenny on eBay. We're gonna talk about basketball cards. That's why I was late. That's why I was late this morning. I was trying to make a thumbnail. So it's hard to find images of like what you want when it comes to cards. Like I wanted I just wanted a few basketball rookies like Luka, Zion, modern rookies, Trae Young, like some of the Ja Morant, some of those guys, and it's really hard to find. So I lifted an image for my thumbnail from the Google image search. Jenny says new product available all over the place. Tops Chrome like 30 blasters at my local Walmart. Jenny posted a picture. There are clearance boxes now, which I think we kind of expected, and that's what I talked about yesterday. We're going to see a lot of sealed wax on sale this holiday season from the big time retailers. I went into depth on that yesterday. So check out yesterday's Hobby Evolution if you haven't already. Johnny Boy Cards, good morning. But I think we'll see a basketball card resurgence next year. We've still got a year, at least a year. I think it's going to be at the tail end of 2023. I think we will see a basketball card resurgence. And today I'm going to tell you why. Nick Sang, good morning. We've got some new names in the chat this morning. Been watching all your videos, finally caught you live. Welcome to the chat. Awesome to have you. James is in the house. What's going on? Welcome to the chat. John says vegetable ad I had to watch to gain entry. Wrong demographic. Vegetable ad. So I was the last mow yesterday. It felt good to get out and mow one last time. My yard looks better than Frank's. Frank's robot lawnmower still going. In fact, I was mowing the strip that borders our yards, and the frickin' robot was like coming at me. And the robot lawnmower doesn't mow like in straight lines. It just does whatever it wants. And it's like coming for me. And George messaged me. We were talking about something, and George brought up the Maximum Overdrive. Remember that? What a great movie. Now, I don't think that was based on Stephen King. I think the movie Trucks was based on the Stephen King novel. Although Maximum Overdrive could have been also based on Stephen King as well. Very similar. Like Trucks and Maximum Overdrive are basically the same story. Trucks have a mind of their own and they kill people. Do you think Frank manscapes? I know. Terry says I'll have to check my Walmarts. They usually have bare shelves. Zach and Porter says just dropped a video thanking Bo for some cards he sent from his recent blowout sale. We fell for the Bowman U product placement I've been seeing every day for months. Yes. I've got to check that out. Mark Hoyle, good morning. Paige and Deanie Bean in the house. Mark sold something. Stephen King directed Maximum Overdrive. Aha. So was Trucks also a Stephen King, or do I have this backwards? Was Trucks just kind of a outlaw movie? Let's see. Maximum Overdrive, great movie. Emilio Estevez. Basically, if you haven't seen it, I think it came out in 1988. Emilio Estevez starred. Trucks was the original story name. So are they the same movie? Oh, Maximum Overdrive came out in 1986. After a comet causes a radiation storm on Earth, machines come to life and turn against their makers. Holed up in a North Carolina truck stop, a group of survivors must fend for themselves against a mass of homicidal trucks. A diner cook, Bill Robinson, played by Emilio Estevez, emerges as the unlikely leader of the pack, attempting to find an escape plan for himself and the survivors, who include his boss, Bubba Hendershot, played by Pat Hingle, and a newlywed couple. Stephen King directed, adapted from Trucks, July 25th, 1986 release date. So Trucks was also a movie. Or am I just thinking maybe that was also the movie? Yeah, Trucks was a 1997 film. So it was an outlaw movie. Distributed by USA Network. So the movie Trucks, which is basically stolen from Stephen King. In orbit over Nevada desert, alien invaders use unknown powers to make trucks come to life to use as weapons. The unmanned vehicles turn homicidal on its owners and people inside a remote diner. Wow. So it's Timothy Busfield starred in the movie Trucks. Let's see. Is there any reference to okay. So it did serve as source material. Let's see. Trucks is a television horror film, so it was straight to USA Network, based on Stephen King's short story Trucks, which also served as the source material for the earlier film Maximum Overdrive, the only film directed by Stephen King. Aha! So there you go. So Trucks and Maximum Overdrive, similar plot lines, both originating from Stephen King. So there's your it is spooky season. It's October. So there's your spooky movie, cheesy movie from the 80s update. Let's see. Mark sold a bunch of vintage hoops the other night. Terry says Trucks was the original name, also a version of the movie. Jenny says, I started my 50% off sale yesterday, living on the wild side and running it until Sunday. Good luck. Good luck. I woke up this morning. I did not run any sales, but I woke up this morning and had 53 sales overnight. That's like one of the high. Yesterday was kind of a slow sales day on eBay. So I'm at so my last 31 days up, sales dollars are up 31%. So that's a number that keeps rising. We like to see. That's how it should go. Add more, sell more. Let's see. My impressions are still down. Still just hovering around 17 million impressions over a 30-day period, despite adding thousands and thousands of new listings. My sales conversion rate is continuing to rise. So the numbers we like are going up. Sales dollars up 31%. Sales conversion rate, which is not sell-through rate. Those are two different things. But my sales conversion rate is up 1.2% to 8.6%, which is a good number. Page views are down almost 2%, and impressions are down 4.5%. So those are my my metrics today. What was I wanting to look at? So let's see what my sales did yesterday. Volume-wise, not a very good day. Did sell my scanner. Shout out, you know who you are, who bought my scanner. So my for my Fujitsu 7030, when it was in action for 11 months, and then I upgraded, and it's been almost a year to the day. I think October 15th is when I went live, when I went full time. And it was like a half an hour in that I realized I need a feed scanner to really scale up to where I want to scale up. So we want a custom search. I want to see what I did volume wise yesterday. So custom. Let's see. September. Oh, we're in October 4th. October 4th. And let's generate that bad boy. Where were we at? So, I did sell 106 items. So I think part of those 53 items sold overnight went on yesterday's numbers. So 106 is above my average. Let's take a look at, so what's October 5th so far? October 5th, we are at volume sold of 4. So it looks like 53. So it looks like 49 of those 53 went on yesterday's report. So only 4 quantity sold today. But it's still early. So where are we at in the chat? Let's see. Jenny started the 50% off sale. Let's see. DVDs Herman has for $400. Alex. Yeah, Herman could have got maximum overdrive in a trade package, in a baseball card trade package. Let's see. Jenny says, I'm surprised this episode isn't about the number 62 home run. I feel that's played out, and there is a reason. I will say there is a reason. It's not that I just woke up this morning and decided to talk about basketball cards. There is a reason why I'm talking about basketball cards this morning. But we will touch on Aaron Judge. Movie was hilarious. Donovan, what's up? Paige and Deanie Bean says nobody likes Wikipedia reads. I know, right? I accidentally tuned into a Rotten Tomatoes live stream. Dan in the house. What's up, Dan? Collection update found 1998 metal baseball set. Oh, I did want to touch on that. In a 93-94 basketball Topps Finest set, still need to process about 70%. So Dan tweeted out a photo of the David Cone Fleer metal baseball card with the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center in the background. And somebody mentioned, yeah, that card sells really well. So I looked up, and this was the second card of the day that is keep an eye out in like common boxes, not even quarter. Like, I don't think a David Cone Fleer metal will be in a quarter box, nor will an Adam Vinatieri rookie card be in a quarter box. They're probably going to be in common boxes. So those are cards. The Adam Vinatieri rookie, it's Pacific Philadelphia, I think, sells for about $100 raw. Adam Vinatieri rookie. I was shocked. I saw somebody in a Facebook group post it for sale, and people are laughing and talking about the price. And heck, I was laughing to myself, like, okay, right, Adam Vinatieri. But I do know there's a strange market for some of these. And I looked it up, and sure enough, the comps work out. So Adam Vinatieri, if you're digging through, I think it was around the same year as that David Cone, like late 90s, when Adam Vinatieri was a rookie. So look out for the David Cone sells for what, like $15, $15 on the David Cone. But the Vinatieri sells upwards of $100, his rookie card, because I guess it's his only rookie card. And it was kind of a rare set. Not a rare set, but just, not overproduced like a Fleer, Topps, etc. So those were two things I learned yesterday, and I'll keep an eye out when I'm digging through Goodwill or just random common boxes. Terry says King now says he was so coked up he doesn't remember directing it. That's funny. Matthew, what's up? Monster night for me, 130 sales last 3 weeks on Facebook, 16 last night alone. Someone else picked out 90 cards for a lot too. Thank you, Judge and the Yankees. Right on. So Aaron, let's not bury the lead here, which actually the lead is basketball cards. But Aaron Judge, Yankees home run leader, American League home run leader. So Aaron Judge, 62 home runs. So I think it's great. I think it's great for baseball. I think it's great for Aaron Judge. So I hate qualifiers, but I see it so much. I see so many people. Aaron Judge is the real home run king because the other guys cheated. You know what? Until baseball says Actually, you know what? Even if baseball did expunge, it's kind of like a Final Four team that gets busted for recruiting violations and they have to take their banner down. You can't rewrite history. Like the Michigan Wolverines went to the Final Four, went to the national championship game in 1993 with Chris Webber, the Fab Five. The banner may not be up in Chrysler Arena, but they still played in the national championship game. You can still find it on YouTube. It happened. Tearing a banner down is not going to erase history. And Barry Bonds is the all-time home run leader, and people can dispute that. But hey, it happened. So I think it's great. I hate saying that. I hate qualifying it, but you see so much of it. That's my thought process. I'm pretty sure I've talked about that in a previous episode. My thought process on all those guys in the home runs and blah, blah, blah. Bo still thinks Sosa is the all-time home run king. Everyone above him, including Ruth and Hank, were on PEDs. Sosa the true king. Judge hasn't done anything. Sammy Sosa, his hey, three of the top 6 single-season home runs, Sammy Sosa. Aaron Judge, a hero until he slips up and we find someone new. I don't disagree with that one bit. LOL, when was the scanner listed? 3 minutes before it sold. I think it took an hour. Let's see. Ed says Judge has put the Yankees in a no-win situation contract-wise. Definitely. Let's see. Matthew says they kind of did with not allowing them in the Hall of Fame, but that's different. The Baseball Hall of Fame and Major League Baseball are two different entities. Baseball history is not written in the Hall of Fame. I would disagree with that. 50 years from now, no one will talk Sosa and them at all. I think the opposite. I think baseball will, because you see, look at how, and this is, since Hall of Fame was brought up, Hall of Fame, look at how the votes have trended recently for the alleged PED users. And I think that trend is only going to continue. People will recognize more and more the accomplishments of Barry Bonds. I would say is the greatest baseball player to ever live, Barry Bonds. And, even before his alleged PED usage, he was a Hall of Fame caliber player. So I think as years go by, the opposite will happen, and more people will recognize the accomplishments of that era going forward. And we've already seen it with look at how the votes trended up for the alleged PED users, namely Bonds and Clemens, over the past few years. Ed says they are going to have to overpay him for the latter part of a contract or let him go and feel the wrath of the fan base. Absolutely. You either pay him, you pay him gobs and gobs of money, or you let him go and you're like targeted by your fan base. It is a no-win situation. Matthew says took 50 plus years to get a new AL home run king. Doubt they find anyone. Max says no, the Yankees put themselves there by not signing him before the year, but didn't they offer him like kind of a lowball contract? And I say that lowball, tongue in cheek. I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money, but relatively speaking, this isn't you and I's. This isn't money for you and I. This is in terms of like players in Major League Baseball. And I think it was like 7 years. Let's bring up the old Google machine and see. Google machine says Aaron Judge contract offer. Turned down a 7-year, $214 million contract this year. That's a lowball contract. What did you see? And so I know we can debate that. What is lowball? Players are getting paid too much, but in the grand scheme of things, that's a lowball contract. And I think Aaron Judge was right for turning that down. 7 years, $214 million. He's going to get paid. And then he comes out and he hits 62 home runs. Boom, Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge, mic drop. Aaron Judge, you win. He's going to get paid. Let's see. Judge put himself in a great situation after deciding to bet on himself. Definitely. The Hall has at least one member with a positive test now. Not to mention, Bud effing Selig is in the effing Hall of Fame. So screw the Hall of Fame. F the Hall of Fame. They put Bud Selig in, who turned a blind eye to the alleged PED usage. So the Hall of Fame is Hall of Fame. I just hope that someday the all-time record will be broken by a right-handed batter. All these short porches in right field. What's up, Fall Creek? Jenny says, wow, strong there with the Barry Bonds, greatest player to ever live. I will die on that hill. 1 Million Bonds Project. Who is going to do it? Hey, if Barry Bonds played it for the Cubs, I might. Bobby did. Bobby had, let's see, Bobby I think only has, no, I think he does have a few Cubs cards. Bobby Bonds. I think he has a few Cubs cards. 82 tops. He was in the traded, I think it was traded edition, 81 tops. And then I think he might have been in Fleer and Donruss. Terry says, I just ordered an 8170 a few days ago. We'll move the 7160 to backup status. Very nice. I had my 7030 on hand for a couple weeks just as I got used to my 8170. And I felt yesterday was the time was right. I've been adding a bunch. I added another 500 or 600 cards to my eBay store yesterday. So I'm like, the time is right. It's time to rehome my 7030. Let's see. DR says, in the steroid era of baseball pitchers and hitters for juiced. So why not have it be an equal playing field then? I agree. That's part of what I agree on. What's up, Diego? Max says, yes, they did nowhere near what the younger kids were offered, I believe. Let's see. Ken says, what's up, Ken? Yet another reason USPS sucks. Do we need more? I'm going to lose my eBay top-rated status because they have not been scanning my PWEs. Ken, I did see this in a blowout forum, and I think if you reach out to eBay, I know it's a pain in the ass. This will not affect your seller status. Like, I think eBay, because somebody mentioned, I'm going to look it up on the blowout forums. I just read this yesterday. Somebody else had the exact same scenario that you were experiencing. And it will not, like, I think right now it's showing you as above rated and not top rated. But when the actual declaration comes, you will not be affected by those scans. So let me find. So here it is. It's on blowout forums. It's in the section community under eBay ComC, online selling shows, PayPal shipping. Just they kind of throw everything in here. It is called eBay standard envelopes and seller level. So user by the name of Bosox fan 5990 says, I've been an eBay seller for about 2 years. Oh, here I go reading off Wikipedia, blowout forums. And have been a top-rated seller since I was first able to qualify for that distinction. I was on my Seller Hub overview page last week and scrolled down to my seller level and noticed the if we evaluated today section showed above standard instead of top rated. The next evaluation period, October 20th. My tracking uploaded on time and validated section shows under 95%. It's at 92% for this user. When I look deeper, there are 7 instances out of 93 in the last 3 months that had tracking uploaded on time, but no carrier scan. All 7 are eBay standard envelope shipments. 5 of the 7 are 2022 Topps Chrome singles I sold to help recoup my $400 pre-order. Yikes. One instance was shipped with another card and have both have the same tracking number. The other card shows delivered. A couple other instances have positive feedback. Regardless of the above, I was under the impression that ESE scans no longer counted toward tracking for top-rated seller level, since ESE specifically states no carrier acceptance scan is needed, plus there is literally nothing sellers can do to ensure ESEs get a scan. I swear there's only a couple more sentences. I spoke with eBay customer service the day I noticed this and they assured me these missed scans would be removed and or not counted toward my seller level before the next evaluation, but they are still showing, and it's getting me concerned. I don't want to stop using ESE shipping as an option since it helps me move cheap cards. However, how can eBay count ESE scans toward a metric that helps sellers save on fees when they don't require an accepted scan in their words? And there's literally no way a seller can ensure a scan. So that's on the Blowout forums, eBay standard envelopes and seller level. So Ken, you are not alone. Let's scroll through here. Let's see. Another user comments, in my experience, the current month reflects all carrier no scans. By the end of the month, eBay has removed them from the calculation, and I was back to 100%. This has been consistent for 6 months. So, Ken, I think you're going to be okay. Let's see. So, and then that's it. It's just 3 comments. Bo Sox thanks the other guy. So I think you'll be okay. So it will not affect your top rated seller status, but keep an eye on it. Todd says Judge to the Cubs. I don't want that because that's going to be a bad contract. That's going to be a bad I mean, Judge is what, 30, 31 years old? And he's going to get paid. And I don't want my team making that payment, making those payments. Would it be cool to see Judge in a Cubs uniform? Yes, but my concern is it prevents money being spent on like pitchers and every other position on the field. Ed says, I wish someone would like ball me with $30 million a year, right? Low ball me. Yeah, right. I know. Many complain about the records from the PED era, yet most of them will never be able to hit a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You still have to hit the ball. Yes, you are correct, sir. John says Bonds is awesome. I love him. Kyle says Baseball Hall of Fame has gotten a lot wrong. Pete Rose. So I'm like, okay, so I guess we're going into Hall of Fame talk. I've changed my mind on Pete Rose, and here's why. I thought Pete Rose baseball should have been in the Hall of Fame. Now, he did, when he was betting on baseball, he's like, yeah, I'll step away from baseball forever. And now it's almost, he's become a clown. And I think he was always a clown. But I think he's more of a clown. And of course, there's he liked young girls and all that stuff. So I'm okay with Pete Rose not being in the Hall of Fame. We all know on the field he was a great player. Maybe I'm being what's the word I'm looking for? It's on the tip of my tongue. And the more that I speak it out, the less I remember the term. Hypocrite. I just had to stop talking for a second. Hypocrite. Maybe I sound hypocritical, but I'm okay with Pete Rose not being in the Hall of Fame just because he's made it just a joke. He's made the Pete Rose to the Hall of Fame a joke, and I'm okay with him not being in. You better rinse after uttering C-Lig. I know. If I was a small town mayor, I would create a museum highlighting players that should be in their halls of fame but aren't. The forbidden fame. It would be a blast. Jenny says, Ken, I feel that pain. The post office lost 55 envelopes, all mailed the same day 3 weeks ago. An entire day of mail lost. Never seen it. That's crazy. Thumbs up. Thank you, Paige and Deanie Bean. Ken says, I'll keep my fingers crossed and keep my eye on it. Randy, what is up? Who is the person in the hall who used PEDs? I'm not sure. Somebody said there was one. Somebody added there were two. Let's see. Is it Ortiz? Is it David Ortiz? Let's see. I wish Pirate Ship did PWE. I overpay rack PWE by slapping 3 forevers on the envelope. There you go. Ortiz. Yeah. The prior generation was on amphetamines. Right on. The pre-war. Let's see where we at. The pre-war guys constantly cheated. Oh yeah. And they you think the pre-war, like if you read about the early days of baseball, look at the early days of baseball. They were blatantly cheating. They didn't even hide it like the Houston Astros. They just came out and just cheated. Hey, by any means necessary. Win by all costs. Is it Nap, Lajoie, or LaJoy? LaJoy just sounds easier for me to say. Lajoie. Needed to beat Ty Cobb for the batting title at the end of the season in 1910. And let's also not forget that the guys in the pre-war era were all white. So there was let's see some of those guys hit against Satchel Paige or pitch against Josh Gibson. So let's see. That was a super long post for a guy that was told by eBay they wouldn't count. He explains things like I do, long-winded. Ken says, well, good news there. Glad I whined in the chat. Right on. See, we're here to help. Paige and Deanie Bean says, before outfield fences were installed, fans cheated. The rope would shrink for away team foul ball and would expand for the home team. Then there was, let's see, what was Merkel's boner, 2 balls in play against the Cubs. Let's see. Cubs don't need Judge. I agree with Victor. John says, Pete Rose, great player, greater scumbag. He'll get in when he dies. I think you're right. I think he'll eventually get in, but it's going to be after he died. They're not going to give the baseball gods will not give Pete Rose the dignity of getting elected while he's still alive, and I'm okay with that. Let's see. Card Hobbyist, what is up? Examine Baseball, good morning to you. Get those likes up. Thank you, Nick. Victor says Pete Rose will get in one day. I agree. I think all those guys, I think Pete Rose gets in, Bonds and Clemens, I think they'll be in sooner than Pete Rose. Like other Hall of Fames, they become too political. Absolutely. Bench does not think Rose should be in the Hall. That says a lot. My argument about the Bonds Judge thing is that Judge would have gotten to 60 home runs. Even pitchers intentionally walked him as much as they did Bonds. Let's see. Those were vitamin shots Mantle was getting. Card Hobbyist says, if pitchers. Randy says the word is judgy on Pete Rose in light of us talking about Aaron Judge Day. How did pre-war cheat? Ricardo, what is up? Pre-war cheated in many ways. I think it was explained. Somebody mentioned the fences. Fans would throw like baseballs in the field of play. There would be switcheroos. The list goes on. Let's see. Your first pronunciation was correct. Lajoie. Lajoie sounds much more exotic. Lajoie. LaJoy. Lajoie. Something Sports Cards. What's up? Good morning. About to scale up my eBay store. Is the place questions can be asked to you guys with big eBay stores. I will definitely answer any questions. Drop them in the chat. Chris B, good morning. Makes me think about Eddie Guerrero. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Right. Lajoie. When you say the baseball gods, are you referring to the obnoxious, arrogant baseball writers? No. I think just in general, just a generality. Let's see. Cleat Files. So let's talk. So Something Sports Cards, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll get to those. Let's talk basketball cards. Because I think the basketball card market is due for a resurgence. Now, here's the crazy thing about basketball, and I know not everyone in the chat is a basketball card collector or fan, and frankly, neither am I. But Diego says basketball cards. But I have noticed just from my flip, I got into basketball cards. I guess it was it was pandemic. Cleat Files. Yes, Ty Cobb. Gotcha. Germany Schaefer didn't cheat, but they changed a rule for him. He stole second, then stole first. You're no longer allowed to steal a base you've already been to. Rube Waddell never cheated. He just chased fire trucks. Manager Al Dark oversaturated the base paths to slow down Maury Wills. So there you go. So basketball cards. I got into basketball cards during the pandemic. So the basketball card market was still pretty crazy, like at the beginning of the pandemic. And I think I put in the description it was already starting to die during the pandemic, but towards the end, the basketball card market was already declining when everything else was soaring. So I got back into basketball cards. I started seeing these prices. I guess it probably peaked with the Bulls documentary, The Last Dance. I mean, I was selling Dennis Rodman base common cards for like $5 on eBay. It was a crazy time, that 2020. And then I started like kind of reading into basketball cards and all this Prism talk. What the hell is Prism basketball? And I've got some Prism basketball and some common boxes in my closet. I'm gonna dig those out, and holy moly, some of those early Prism cards at the time were, I pulled like a Bradley Beal, sold it for $75. There was a Chris Middleton rookie silver that sold for $300 raw. And I'm like, hey, this is fun. I like basketball cards. And I started buying rookies, like rookie boxes, bulk buying. And I'm like, because like NBA hoops rookies were selling for like $5, and I was a little too late. And the summer of 2021, I was at the National, last day of the National, money to burn. I had not yet burned all the money in my wallet. My budget was not spent. I had picked up some great Cubs cards for the collection, but now it's like, I want to find some stuff to flip. So I found a booth with a bunch of SGC, Modern Prism basketball rookies. And I'm like, ooh. And I picked out like 35 and got a deal like, I thought it was a great deal, $12 a slab. Now, there were some that I did, make a decent Jordan Poole, I think I sold for $50 or $60. There were some others that sold for 25, 30, a couple that sold for 20. And then I had about a dozen left, just a couple months over the summer, and this past summer, and blowout sale, $5 a slab. It was probably break even, or might have lost a few bucks, might have made a few bucks. I don't know. But it was my foray into the basketball card market. My thought in July of 2021, the basketball card market is soft. I'm paying $12 for these, but it's July, it's the off season. Wait until October and November, and I'm going to be able to flip these for 25, 30, 50. Fortunately, I was able to do that. Unfortunately, it was only one player, one slab, and that was Jordan Poole. So, and the basketball card market never, pun intended, rebounded from those doldrums, those lows. And it's like, what was the reasoning behind that? Let's get into the reasoning. Let's get to the chat before I get into the reasoning. What was the reasoning behind the drop in basketball while everything else, baseball, football, and hell, even tennis, soccer, and hockey were on their way up? So let's go into the chat real quick. And before we keep talking basketball cards, Cooter doesn't want to talk basketball. He wants to go back to baseball. Let's talk about the real goldmine non-sports cards of the 90s. John says basketball cards will be the poster child for the pandemic boom and bust. There's a new book out by Mark Armour, Intentional Bulk, that talks about cheating in baseball. Interesting. That is very cool. Paige and Deanie Bean says, yeah, we're here for baseball talk. Red Light 34. Hello. Good morning. Welcome to the chat. That Twitter post about the worth of those Luka cards is awesome. Luka is, John said the poster, Luka rookie cards. That's your poster child right there. John nailed it. Luka Prism rookies will be the poster child of pandemic pricing. Let's see. Something sports cards. I'll circle back. I'm going to circle back. We'll get through basketball talk, and I'll circle back to that question. You might have to remind me. Sometimes I forget to circle back. Cooter says, okay, let's get the sex bots going to throw Bo off basketball. JGC says, seems to me eBay buyers have no problem overpaying for certain NBA rookies and stars. Yeah, it is weird. And some sell really well. And then there's some, like Darius Garland is my poster child for like rookies not selling. I sold more Jesus Tinoco. I sold two Jesus Tinoco to two separate buyers yesterday and last night on eBay. He must have pitched really well or made a debut or something. But I can't move Darius Garland. I and I think I have, like I used Darius Garland as a reference. I bought 8 of them, or 8 came in like a bulk buy, and I'm like, oh, these are going to sell fast. And they didn't. Like $2. And it took forever to move them all. Nick Sang says, nice getting to see you live. Have a great day. Anyone can send me a note on TCDB. Nick Sang, awesome. Thanks for jumping on. Younger money in basketball, definitely. Sports cards, it depends on how much you plan to list. If you were capped at 1,000 listings, you may want to upload your best stuff first. Stacks and packs, where are we at? Basketball skyrocketed, starting with Luka Trey, then Zion, and Last Dance. Let's see. Mark is a great guy, talking about Mark Armour and his new book. John says basketball was going around the calendar back then. 2 seasons rolled into each other. People got burned out. Speculators moved on to slabbed VHS tapes. Victor says, how about Zion? Kids were paying big bucks for this guy. Is Zion still playing? I think so. Luka rookie equals 89 Griffey. Yeah, they're everywhere. In fact, I think are Luka rookies like aren't there just as many Luka rookies slabbed as Griffeys? I can't remember the numbers. Stacks and Pack says Zion played last night, had a decent game. Griffey cards still sell, the exception to the supply-demand theory. Nick drops a link to Mark Armour's book. Thank you. Randy says, I am a huge basketball collector, and I want basketball cards to go to 0, then I can afford to buy it all. Let's see. Where are we at? Something sports cards. I'll circle back to those questions. John Hart's Randy Wilkie. Victor says NBA started. Well, this is preseason. I think preseason just started. So we're about a month out from the regular season, I believe. George says NBA is king in Asia, and their currencies are all worthless at the moment and will be for a long while going forward. Expect it to continue going down. George brings up a great perspective living in Korea. That is a great point. There's a lot of big money in Asia buying basketball, and with the currencies over there, that definitely could be a big reason why there's a softening of the basketball card market. Stacks and Packs, there you go. Line for Zion. First game of basketball in 517 days. I didn't realize it's been that long since Zion has been in. 13 points on 4 of 6 shooting. Made all 5 free throws and played 15 minutes. Okay. Victor says we'll need to take out my Bulls and G. Allen cards to display them in the rec room. So we had Luka kind of like, I think Luka, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think Luka kind of spurred the basketball card renaissance where the prices kind of went crazy. And then you had, of course, Zion and Ja, and things went crazy. Zion signed a max contract this year. Bernie Madoff has nothing on Zion. So Zion Williamson, he was and this is why, and I'm going to transition here because this is why I'm talking basketball today. Zion Williamson, who played last night, thank you, Stacks and Packs, first time in 517 days. When Zion came out, there was so much hype around Zion Williamson. What, in 2019? Was that when he was drafted? Zion followed by Ja Morant. But then 2020, 2021, look at the rookie classes in the ensuing years. Let's Google this because I can't remember. Let's go to 2020 NBA draft 2020. So 2020 NBA draft, the number 1 pick. And this is when I'm like, ooh, I'm going to buy rookie cards because there's this craze and everybody's going to go up. And I just kind of got lost in that thought process, and I was way wrong. So 2020 NBA draft, I'm just trying to find an easy list. Here we go. Anthony Edwards, and Ant is playing really well. So Anthony Edwards, number 1 pick. James Wiseman went number 2, and LaMelo Ball went number 3. But there's nothing sexy. There was nothing sexy at the time for those players. Even LaMelo Ball had that name recognition, but it wasn't like, he was the big name at the time, but he had nothing on Zion Williamson a year prior. Other first rounders, Patrick Williams, the Bulls, Isaac Okoro, Killian Hayes, Obi Toppin, Denny Avdia of the Wizards. I thought this kid was going to be a freaking stud, and so far he has not been. Tyrese Halliburton picked 12th, and he's had a good career thus far. Cole Anthony of the Magic, Precious Oshawa, RJ Hampton, Peyton Pritchard. I think Peyton Pritchard's going to be a breakout player. Desmond Bane picked 30th overall, and he's had a good career so far as well. So that's nothing sexy about the 2020 NBA draft. Let's go to 2021. So last year's draft. So I'm we're just comparing from Zion and Ja Mania from 2019. You had Cade Cunningham going first overall. Jalen Green went number 2, and Evan Mobley went number 3. Even less sexier than the 2020 draft class. There was no big name recognition in the 2021 NBA draft. It was weak. And like, as I look through, this is a pretty brutal draft. And I'm not a big basketball junkie, but I follow it somewhat, and there's just nothing really, outside of the top few guys. There's really nothing that sticks out. And then 2022, our most recent draft, these guys haven't played yet in the regular season. So this is probably the most hype we had was around Chet Holmgren, who went number 2 overall behind Paolo Banchero. But Banchero didn't have, he wasn't, that sought after like the his Zion, who went to the same school, Duke. So, but here we go, and I'm gonna finally get around to it. Zion Williamson, big hype. 2023, we will see the biggest hyped name since Zion Williamson in the 2023 NBA draft, and that kid's name is Victor Wembanyama. He's from France. He's 7'4". And he's a freaking stud. So Victor Wembanyama played last night. He played for the Metropolitans 92, and they took on the G League Ignite last night. So this is why I want to talk basketball cards and why I think there's going to be a resurgence in the basketball card market, because there's a trickle-down effect. And when there's big hype over, generational talents like a Victor Wembanyama, I think there's a trickle-down effect, and all of a sudden it brings people to basketball cards because there's going to be big money attached to Victor Wembanyama, and there's going to be, a trickle-down with other rookie cards and just, I think, the basketball card market in general. So I think mid-2023, we'll start to see that resurgence as Victor Wembanyama. How many times can I say that on the show? Victor Wembanyama. I say that more than John Nolan Drive. There you go. That's for you, Rich. Victor Wembanyama last night, 37 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 blocks. Scoot Henderson plays for the G League Ignite, and so these are basically like, we are a year out from the NBA draft, less than a year now. But for the past, probably year, these two guys have been arguably the number 1 and number 2 picks in the 2023 NBA draft. Going on 2 years. And we haven't been able to say that since Zion Williamson in 2019. We have not been able to say Zion Williamson is going to be the number 1 pick in 2 years. We've been able to say that, and I say we, the draft nicks out there, the basketball heads, the hoop heads. I said hoop, not poop. The hoop heads have been saying Victor Wembanyama will be the number 1 overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft. So he played Scoot Henderson last night. Henderson had 28 points, 9 assists, and 5 rebounds. Kristen Peak on Twitter said just an incredible outing from the top 2 draft prospects. So Victor Wembanyama, 2023 NBA draft. We'll have Bronny James, and I'm going to get to the chat real quick. We're going to have Bronny James in a couple years. And I know he's not a generation. He's not even going to be like, he might not even be an all-star. He might not even be a first-round draft pick, but he's got the name, and he'll have basketball cards because card companies will be taking advantage of that James last name, and we'll see a big Bronny James. Bronny James might be like the 28th overall pick, but command like the highest prices by far in basketball cards just because of that name. It's not about talent. It's about there's a big difference between hobby collectability, investability, and talent. So let's go back into the chat, and I promise to something sports cards that I'll get back to you. So we left off at John. First Brian Gray, now Bo's transitioning. Speaking of Asian currency, you can get Topps Fire blasters from Amazon Japan for $7 each shipped. That's amazing. Amazon. I'm gonna put that in my Google machine right now. Amazon Japan. I didn't know that was a thing. I can't read it, Ed. Can somebody translate this website for me? Oh wait, no. It does come up in English. Okay, let's see. Amazon Japan, Topps Fire. Topps Fire. Ed, I think Ed's onto something. Okay, what's blaster box? What's 2,640 yen? What's yen? Let's do a currency trans. 2,640 yen. Let's do this currency. Yen to dollar version. I say. Let's see. Japanese yen. So we want 2,640. So this, I've got $18 on this one. But maybe there's a cheaper one. So at least I have kind of a reference point. Let's see, 2,640 yen. Interesting. 2022. Oh, that's a blaster box. Mega box. That's going to be like $40. Ed's got me sidetracked. I'm on Amazon Japan. Never thought I'd say that in the morning. What'd you do this morning? Oh, went on Amazon Japan, looking at baseball cards. 2022 Topps Spotlight. Well, at any rate, I'm going to look through this. I wonder if let's price it. Let's do 2,000 to 6,000 yen. Yeah, that's showing that Topps Fire is that that's a blaster box. It's showing 2,600 yen, which my conversion says $18, which is still cheaper than what we can find here. Let's see where we at. John says bowl, right? Thanks, Bo. Now I have the worst song of the 80s. My name is Luca stuck in my head. There will be payback. I don't even know what that song is. Does that 70s card show have a channel? I want to check it out. He does, and it's an awesome channel, by the way. He certainly does. He's got great stuff, and I loved. He had his brothers on a couple days ago, which was great stories were told. Max says nothing sexy about Ant-Man and LaMelo. Hobby-wise, no. There was nothing sexy about those guys. Are they good, great basketball players? Yes, but there's nothing sexy about them. Hobby-wise, Zion Williamson, that was a sexy pick. Ja Morant was not a sexy pick. It doesn't mean they're not good players. It just means they're just not like generational talents. And it was thought to be Zion Williamson was, but there are generational talents that turn out not to be generational talents. But from a collecting standpoint, from collectability, no. Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, they weren't even number one. Like LaMelo Ball was the number 3 overall pick. Like there was debate on who is going to be the number 1 pick in both 2020 and 2021. So no, not sexy at all. Let's see. Rich says, and I don't disagree that those guys are top 10 players. I don't disagree with that. But when they were drafted, there was nothing sexy about their market, their collecting market. And again, there's a completely different, it's night and day between hobby sexiness and actual play at talent. Like I said, Bronny James is going to be the number one basketball card seller in 2 years or 3 years, whenever it will be. But he might be a second-round pick. He might be a late first-round pick. There's going to be 25 guys better than him in that draft. But he's still going to command the most, and it's going to be a sexy hobby card at the time. And then as more cards are made, and as he flounders in the NBA, hopefully that doesn't happen. We don't want to wish ill on anybody. But then it's like, hey, remember when we all paid $100 for a Bronny James rookie card? There is Rich. What's up, Rich? Chet Holmgren. We kind of saw this coming. Let's see. I wish Bo was on StreamYard. Then I could call in and show you all that rare occasion of me wearing not a t-shirt and sweats. There you go. It is Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur. And my wife and I celebrated by takeout Mexican last night. Jonathan, I have an excuse. I'm not Jewish. My wife goes, oh man, I'm so bad. She would probably kill me if she knew I said that on YouTube. Jonathan, what's up? We've seen this story before. I've got boxes full of NBA rookies that should have been right on. Uncle Rich in the house. Let the food talk begin. There you go. I had a Ancho Agave, which is a Mexican restaurant that opened up kind of near us, a few minutes away. Rich says no food talk today. Is this is the fast? This is so when is break the fast? Is that it's been since we haven't celebrated. Actually, I think we did right post COVID. So no food talk, but I do want to share my Mexican food story. I had a carnitas burrito. It's got plantains in it. Oh man, it's so good. It's a huge burrito. I only eat half of it, so I'll have the other half for lunch. Sorry, Rich. Rich is fasting. Let's see. Jonathan says most of these players will be irrelevant in no time. There was a French player last night with the last name Ho You Fat. Yes, and thank you, Nick, because I almost forgot to mention that. In the game last night, Victor Wembanyama has a teammate, and his name is Steve Ho You Fat. And yes, it's spelled like it sounds. Ho space YOU space FAT. Ho You Fat. Plays for a French team. Teammates with Victor Wembanyama. That could be. I don't think Dick Pole, Rusty Kuntz. I mean, Steve Ho You Fat. That's kind of like that's an all timer. That's an all timer. That's a tough one to beat. Rich says, which is why I'm dressed but not leaving for about 2 hours. What a great name for Bo to say. John says Jamar Chadamatova. Let's see. Thank you, John. Okay, I do not get that one. I'll ask my wife. Where are we at? Let's see. We've got lots of chats and something sports cards. By the way, I will get to your questions. Let's see. From the Bernstein clan to the Klein clan. If Bo starts StreamYard, visitors to the show expands to 2 hours. 13 of 52 likes. That is just 25%. Thank you, Rich. Hit that like button if you're so inclined. You dip, Daniel. Best basketball offspring playing right now is, Trinity Rodman, soccer player. Bo trending now in Osaka. Victor Wembanyama. You heard it here first. Let's see. A lot of yen. Usually around 100 yen to $1. Todd says $18. Bowman, you just got replaced. John, how did the industry picket go? John says, be careful, Bo. I once bought condoms from Amazon Japan. Didn't work out so well. The return of Tangent Evolution. Let's see. Kumbaya name is so much better than Bowman U. What no large sizes in Japan there, John? I'm seeing 2,640 yen. John says Illuminati Summit was just me hitting the card show both days. Met Danny Black though, great pickups and a bunch of 60 Leaf, very cool. Suzanne Vega, is that she's saying was it Tom's Diner? If they were there, if they were the long loves, I agree, John. Nothing but dead weight. There you go. Rich says yes, a hit with Tom's Diner. Rich sending Dr. Jim a request for show by the two of you. Met Danny Black sounds like that would make meeting Danny Black. That's fine by me. So the only other sexy pick in the history of the NBA was LeBron. Let's see. Let's go back. Greg Oden was a sexy pick. LeBron was certainly a sexy pick. It's not like you don't have a sexy pick every year. That's what makes it sexy. You can't have one every year. The only other, LeBron was certainly a sexy pick in 2003. I would say Greg Oden was a sexy pick, and look how that turned out. And that's what I'm saying. Just because it's a sexy pick doesn't mean it's going to be a Hall of Fame talent. Bronny James will be a sexy pick, even though he may be the 33rd pick in the draft. It's going to be a command. It's a completely separate entity. Hobby sexiness and talent sexiness. Now, there's got to be a little bit of both, unless your last name is James and you're the son of one of the all-time great basketball players. Let's see. Then it's built in. Rich says, if you really want to celebrate, eat Chinese food on Christmas Day, right? That was before we became a Chrismica household. That was what my wife and her family did. Movie in a Chinese restaurant. Let's see. Where we at? It was Taco Tuesday. Sunset. Yeah. Okay. Break the Fast. I loved Break the Fast. Like, and here's the thing. Here's what I love about being Jewish. Put on some great holidays, and like you think thanks. Like I came in like I don't think I knew a Jewish person before I met my wife. I probably did and just didn't realize it. But then I lived it. I lived it and I live it. And these holidays, my goodness, you think Thanksgiving, Christians, you're missing out. You are missing out. You get Thanksgiving and Christmas is kind of like, Christmas isn't about food. It's about presents. I'm sure that's going to piss somebody off. But you get Thanksgiving, the Jewish, oh my goodness, break the fast because everybody starved themselves and they just pound their faces with food. Oh my gosh. Every holiday is a feast. It's amazing. Let's see. It was Taco Tuesday for me last night. It was Burrito Tuesday for me. So, hey, it worked out. Mexican for Taco Tuesday. Bo will fast from Bowman. Do you like carnitas? What are carnitas? This was a carnitas burrito, and pardon my ignorance here, but I don't know what a carnitas is. I just know the carnitas burrito is really good. Is carnitas the meat? I'm going to Google. Here we are, Tangent Evolution. What is a carnitas? Carnitas is a dish. It's is it pulled pork? Okay. So it's just So I would say yes, I like carnitas. Steve, ho you fat. If that French team makes jerseys, they will sell. Absolutely. I'd like to see He Hate Me adopt Ho You Fat. He Hate Me, Ho You Fat would look great on the back of a uniform. Max says the best card, though, name-wise, has to go to Jung Bong Brandon Puffer. Absolutely. I picked up a Bong Puffer rookie card autographed, and I think it was signed by Puffer, who's at one time was in prison. Here we go, Tangent Evolution. Google is getting a workout this morning because I don't want to say Brandon Puffer's like a felon, and here he is, like this upstanding citizen. Let's see. Let's look up Brandon Puffer. Let's see. Arrest and imprisonment. Okay, so he has spent time in prison. Here I am reading from Wikipedia. I know I know John has a listener that really loves it when people on YouTube read from Wikipedia. On September 13th, 2008, Puffer was arrested after, it was in Rich's backyard, Frisco Rough Riders game. Arrested after the Rough Riders playoff game against the Travelers for burglary of a habitation with the intent to commit a felony. Sexual assault. The offense carried penalties of up to 99 years imprisonment and a $10,000 fine. Puffer was found guilty July 2nd, 2009 in a Collin County courtroom and sentenced to 5 years in prison. He became eligible for parole January 2010 and his sentence ran through 2014. He made parole by 2011. So there you go. Brandon Puffer, not a good guy. But yeah, I think it was signed by Brandon Puffer, and I pulled it out of an autographed dollar box at the National last year, 2021. I think I sold it because I haven't been able to find it. It's like I want to at least take a picture and tweet it. But the Bong Puffer, and it was signed by Brandon Puffer. Let's see. In the words of the late Kevin Samuels, get those likes up. Thank you, Nick. When John typed in condoms, I thought the sex bots might arrive. We had an insurgence of sex bots the other day. Sam Bowie was a sexy pick. I don't think Sam Bowie was a sexy pick. I was 2 years old when Sam Bowie was the number 2 overall pick in 1984. So I don't have firsthand recollection of the 1984 NBA draft. I'm sure Akeem Olajuwon was a sexy pick. Here come the bots. Patrick Ewing was such a sexy pick in the 80s that the NBA weighted the card so the Knicks got him in the lottery. I agree. Yes, Patrick Ewing, old Pat Ewing, that was a sexy pick in 1985. But then the ensuing years, 86 was, who was 86? Who was the number 1 pick in 86? Brad Doherty. 87 was, I think David Robinson was 87. 88 was Danny Manning. 89 was Purvis Ellison, the number 1 overall pick in 1989. So, yeah, I remember Joe Smith in 95. We had Chris Webber in 93. Shaq, there's a sexy pick. Shaq in 1992. Let's see where we at. By the way, something sports cards. Yes, I am getting to your questions. I say that because if I don't repeat that, I will forget. Let's see. Mays, better player than Mantle. Mantle, sexy pick. There you go. John, that's a perfect analogy. Mays was a better baseball player than Mickey Mantle, but in the hobby game, Mickey Mantle's a much sexier baseball card. Totally agree. 100%. Thank you, John. As a Knicks fan, I appreciated the move. Paige and Deanie Bean is surprised those sex bots haven't. There's George with the emojis. Bots must be on vacation with all the sexy talk. Yeah, I've dropped sexy a lot in this show. John says the Jews do everything right. Maybe you're using sexy to mean a no-brainer pick. I guess our definitions of sexy might be way off. Well, it's not just talent. It's just like hype. It's talent. It's a combination. It's talent. It's hype. No brainer is kind of like, yeah, like, Shaq was a no brainer pick in 92. But like Bronny James is going to be a sexy pick and he's not going to be a no brainer. Like he's going to be probably a late first round pick. Maybe he might not even get drafted, but if he has basketball cards, it's going to be a sexy basketball card. Let's see. So it's kind of subjective. Like, I mean, it's not like, there's no rules by it. It's kind of just something I made up. Let's see. Never knew until today your spouse was Jewish. Damn, you married well. No wonder I like you. Wait till Passover and the bottle of wine with dinner. Absolutely. Rich, I actually, it took me about 4 years, in my relationship with my wife, before I tried gefilte fish, and I like gefilte fish. Now I hate cooked liver and onions, but the like the liver paste or whatever it is, I like that. Put it on, put it on the what's the unleavened bread. Put that on there, a little horseradish. So yes, I really like gefilte fish. Let's see. National Taco Tuesday yesterday. The only downside is no bread for 8 days. Let's see. Thank you, Card Hobbyist. John says, I'm 28% Jewish, but the 72% Irish kind of eliminates any hope of a normal life. Victor says, I will bring some on my next trip to John Nolan Drive, the best carnitas in town from the Southwest side. Nice. I like it. Love it. Rich says, I may have been at that game. Damn, he was doggy door Jacob Nix before doggy door Nix. Let's see. Rich says, yeah, but the sexy pick was Len Bias. Yeah, Len Bias. sad story there. You need to try Gloria's for Mexican food. I think that's not far from my house. Is Gloria's over on Junction Road? What's up, Cody? I have not tried. I've seen the sign. Because I go to Mr. Brews. If Gloria's is the place I'm thinking of, it may not be, but if it's where I think it is, I go to Mr. Brews there every once in a while. Let's see. In '86, Shaq in '92 was a sexy pick. I saw Len Bias play at Villanova. What a talent! Yeah, terrible story on Len Bias. Diego says, I am better baseball player than my brother, but he was sexier. Bastard. Well, other than Jenny, I can't think of anyone in this chat who could be sexy. There you go, Rich. Card Hobbyist says, not even yourself. I can't stand that fish. Liverwurst. Let's see. No, not me. Now my doggy son, Tater Tot. He is a chick magnet. I'm just his wingman. C&M Collectibles. Thank you, Matzah. I love putting the liver on the matzah. I love matzo ball soup. That's the one thing I miss by not going to services or anything. Celebrating was no food spread. So something sports cards. Way back in the chat. Here we go. I think this was the first question. When scaling up, how do you decide on what cards to post? I will be using Card Dealer Pro and not sure what kind of bill cards to upload. Common, stars, semi-stars. So here's my best advice. I will tell you to list stars and rookies first. Even rookies of term of the day, sexy, even the non-sexy players. Like I mentioned, I sold a couple Jesus Tinoco. Now, some of those players like Jesus Tinoco, they may sit in your store for a while, but rookie cards seem to move quicker. I would definitely put those in. Stars, even junk wax era, George Brett, Jose Canseco, Barry Bonds, those types of players, even from a set like 89 Topps or 91 Fleer, those will move. So I will tell you first, put stars and rookies. And then it's kind of like the more obscure sets. I'll tell you what, one set that really sells, I listed a whole bunch of these from 1988 Pacific Baseball Legends. These like fly. Like swell baseball greats, because you can get cards of Willie Mays and Roberto Clemente for $1.50, $2. So that's what I would say when you're scaling up. Start with the best. Start with your best cards first, and then trickle down, and then go down to the commons. The only commons I really list are like early 80s and back. Or if it's like an obscure set, or Topps Heritage sells really, Topps Archives, those types of sets sell really well. But I would say list your stars, your rookies, you list those first. So I think he had another question. Will having the store ability to upload to 50K in sports card category? Let's see. So I don't know if that's a question, but so if you have a premium store, you automatically receive 10,000 free buy it now listings. But you also receive 50,000 additional listings, and sports cards do fall as one of those categories. So if you get a premium store, you can list 60,000 items per month. Buy it now. Now, there is a caveat. Be careful if your limits are, say eBay only allows you to list 10,000 items per month in your selling limits. Getting a store does not override that. You have to ask for more. So be careful if you're scaling up to a premium store. Make sure you have the limits above 50, 60,000, because that was when I got back into eBay sales back in 2015. That was I thought, hey, if I get a store subscription, I'll get 1,000 listings, and I was limited to 100 at the time. Now, if you bug them and call every month like I did, they'll eventually just give you all unlimited listings. I have 2 billion. My selling limit is $2 billion and 2 billion items per month. But that's just my limits, which you will not hit those. But then, I get the 60,000 free insertions per month. So hopefully that answered your question. Let's see. Let's go back into the chat. Matsabri is how I met my wife. So there's that. Awesome. Who wants to talk about sports cards? I listened to Jim's 15-minute podcast for sports card talk. There you go. Which podcast is that? Let's see. Rich. So that is Sports Card Insights. You can check that out here on YouTube with Dr. Jim Beckett. Sports Card Insights. The best episodes, and this is not kissing Rich's butt. The best episodes that Dr. Jim has is with Rich Klein. And when those two just talk, I can listen to those all day. Let's see. John is a sucker for the old timers and newer cards. Fernando, what is up? Let's see. Has anyone mentioned Giselle is apparently back on the market? Yeah, Tom Brady, Giselle. I think we saw that coming here over the last few weeks, couple months. Cooter says the 88 Pacifics have some great photos. It does. And those images aren't used. You don't see those images in other cards, which that's what I like. Sometimes it's like one image is used on like 8 different sets. And I get bored with the images. Let's see. If free insertions doesn't bring the bots, then nothing will, right? So with that, let's end on that note. So thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button if you haven't already. I think we hit 55 live at one point. Hit the like button. Appreciate it. If you're new here, thank you for joining Something Sports Cards. Hopefully I eventually answered those questions for you. That's it for today. Have a great Wednesday. Back at it tomorrow morning. We got to promote the couple next card shows. We're 10 days away from the big Midwest premiere at the Indoor Sports Center in Loves Park, Illinois. Just an hour west of O'Hare Airport on I-90, next to Rockford. 250 tables, 2-day show, October 15th and 16th at the Indoor Sports Center. We did receive confirmation. The bar restaurant that overlooks, it's inside and overlooks the show floor. It's changing ownership, but they will be open. So they'll have appetizers and drinks available in the bar upstairs at the Indoor Sports Center. By the way, the show floor is a nice, cushy, soft soccer turf. So maybe it'll inspire me to list some soccer cards and maybe even hockey cards. We'll see. So that's October 15th and 16th, Indoor Sports Center, Loves Park, Illinois, 250 tables. Going to be a fun show. Next Madison card show is the following weekend, Saturday, October 22nd, which I need to put my ad together and attract some Purdue Boilermaker fans because Purdue is in town. It's homecoming at UW, October 22nd. Madison card show on John Nolan Drive at the Sheraton Hotel, 125 tables, runs from 9 to 3, free admission, and it's UW homecoming, so you can go watch a football game after the show. I think kickoff is 2:30 on Saturday, October 22nd, Wisconsin Badgers against the Purdue Boilermakers. So come on out to that. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thanks for tuning in. Like and subscribe. Have a great Wednesday. We'll chat tomorrow.